Rain slammed against the glass walls as Clara Bennett stood frozen in a $50,000 gown, fingers tightening around a champagne flute while a woman behind her laughed in French. She barely speaks English. Then a man added in Japanese, "Just another pretty contract." And Alexander Hayes said nothing, not even a glance, as if she were invisible, as if he owned her silence. But Clara slowly turned, eyes steady, voice calm. "Actually, I understood every word." The room stilled. She switched to flawless French, dismantling the insult. Then Japanese, sharper, precise. Then Spanish. Then German, each sentence cutting deeper, exposing their arrogance, their deal, their lies. 5 languages, 1 truth. And finally, in English, she faced Alexander. "You didn't marry a doll. You underestimated a mind." The glass slipped from someone's hand. Alexander's expression cracked for the first time, control gone, power shifting in real time. And Clara stepped back, removing her ring. "This contract ends tonight," she whispered, turning toward the door as the billionaire who thought he owned everything realized. He had just lost the only woman who ever saw through him. "If you want control, marry someone who can't fight back." The words hang cold in the air as Clara Bennett sits across from Alexander Hayes, her fingers curled tightly around a cup of untouched coffee, the steam long gone, her reflection faint in the polished table surface. A girl in a borrowed coat sitting in a room she clearly doesn't belong in, while across from her, a man in a perfectly tailored suit watches her like he's already made the decision for both of them. "It's simple," he says, sliding a thick contract across the table. "You marry me for 12 months. You follow the rules, and in return, your debts disappear." Clara's eyes flicker for just a second, not at him, but at the number printed near the bottom. Enough to cover hospital bills, enough to stop the letters, the calls, the quiet fear that has been sitting in her chest for months. "Why me?" she asks, her voice steady but soft, and Alexander leans back slightly, studying her. "Because you're invisible," he says plainly. "No connections, no reputation to protect, no one who'll question it." The words land heavier than they should, but Clara doesn't react, not outwardly, just a small inhale, a quiet shift in her posture. "And you think I'll just say yes?" she asks, and for the first time, there's the faintest hint of something in her tone, something he doesn't quite register. "You don't have better options," he replies, calm, certain, already moving on as if the conversation is over, as if she's already agreed. Silence stretches between them, filled only by the distant hum of traffic outside and the quiet ticking of a clock somewhere in the room. Clara's gaze drops to the contract again, pages filled with conditions, restrictions, boundaries, a life defined in clauses and signatures, no love, no questions, no voice unless permitted. She traces the edge of the paper lightly, as if memorizing it, then looks up, meeting his eyes fully for the first time. "And if I embarrass you?" she asks, and Alexander almost smiles, a cold, dismissive curve of his lips. "You won't," he says, "because you'll remember your place." Another pause, longer this time, heavier, and then Clara reaches for the pen, her hand steady now, far steadier than it was moments ago. She signs her name in clean, deliberate strokes, each letter precise, controlled, practiced. She slides the contract back toward him without hesitation, and for a brief second, something unreadable passes through her eyes, something that doesn't match the quiet, naive image he's already placed on her. "Good," Alexander says, standing, already turning away, already thinking 3 steps ahead. "We get married tomorrow." But as Clara rises, pulling her coat tighter around her shoulders, there's a quiet shift in the air, subtle, almost invisible, like a line has just been drawn that only she can see. And as she follows him out into the cold New York evening, her voice barely above a whisper, almost lost in the city noise, 12 months, she repeats softly, not to him, but to herself. And if anyone had been close enough to hear it, they might have noticed that she didn't sound afraid at all.